You know that person who eats lunch alone, not because they have to, but because they want to. The one who slips out of the office party early or simply never shows up, maybe that person is you. While the rest of the world is busy broadcasting every thought, fighting for the spotlight, and terrified of a quiet moment, you're doing something different. You're keeping to yourself. And society usually has a lot of names for this. They call you aloof, antisocial, or shy. They ask if something is wrong. But here is the thing nobody talks about. Keeping to yourself doesn't mean you are broken. It doesn't mean you are lonely. And it definitely doesn't mean you are boring. According to neuroscience, your brain is actually doing something fascinating that the loud 60% of the population can't even comprehend. You aren't hiding from the world. You are engaging with it on a frequency most people can't hear. Let's start with why this happens. It isn't an attitude problem. It's a hardware difference. Your brain has zero chill, and that is actually genius. Most people walk into a room and their brains instinctively use a spam filter. They ignore the flickering light, the background noise, the weird energy between two strangers in the corner. But you are screenshotting everything. Scientists call this sensory processing sensitivity. Your nervous system is permanently set to perceive literally everything. You notice the tonal change in a conversation, the micro-expression on a face, the energy shift in the room. Because your brain is constantly recording and analyzing complex patterns others miss entirely, keeping to yourself isn't an act of rejection. It's an act of preservation. If you didn't limit the input, you'd burn out. And there is an evolutionary reason for this. Humans are tribal creatures. But for thousands of years, survival didn't just depend on the loud ones hunting or fighting. It depended on the ones who paid attention. While the extroverts were vibing around the campfire, your ancestors were the ones who heard the predator approaching. You aren't too quiet. You are exactly what survival needed. But modern society wasn't designed for people who actually pay attention. It is obsessed with noise. Here is where the chemistry gets really interesting. It comes down to how you experience reward. Most people run on dopamine. They get a hit from the crowd, the external validation, the uncertainty of the game. Their brains are addicted to the more. But if you are someone who keeps to yourself, your dopamine system simply isn't triggered by that same noise. Instead, your system likely rewards introspection and deep focus. You don't need to belong to something bigger to feel complete. You don't need the external applause. Your self-esteem is more stable because it isn't dependent on things completely outside your control. Hit subscribe if you think you're this type. Now, let's talk about the social aspect. People assume that because you keep to yourself, you don't like people. That is almost never true. You don't hate people. You hate the performance. In crowds, everyone is wearing a mask, and because you have high perceptual sensitivity, you can see right through it. You are basically a human lie detector who didn't ask for the job. Small talk feels like chewing on cardboard to you. Your nervous system craves substance. You would rather have one real conversation than 50 fake ones where everyone is performing their highlight reel. Keeping to yourself is how you opt out of the system that forces you to fake it. Some psychologists suggest that people who enjoy solitude are actually more creative and better at problem solving. While everyone else is listening to elevator music, you are composing symphonies in your head. You have figured out what most people spend decades avoiding. Silence isn't empty. It's where clarity lives. So the next time someone asks why you are so quiet or why you don't put yourself out there more, remember this: you aren't missing out on some fundamental human experience. You are just playing a different game. You have opted out of a system never built for minds like yours. You aren't broken. You are just built for depth in a world obsessed with noise, and that might just be your biggest advantage.